Welcome back. Today, fan clutches. With me today is Bruce, my 1987 Dodge Ram 50 / Mitsubishi Mighty Max, whatever you want to call it, but that says Ram, so I'll say Ram. Doesn't really matter, it's the same truck. But the fan clutch is bad. How do I know the fan clutch is bad? Well, when your four-cylinder sounds like a school bus, your fan clutch is probably bad. If you sound like a flathead Ford that had a mechanical fan, no clutch, your fan clutch is bad. It's not clutching. Got it. Has a coil on it. You see that coil? That coil acts just like the coil for a choke, electric choke for a carburetor. So as it gets warm, it turns, but instead of mechanically opening a choke lever, it is opening little doors, passages, whatever you want to call them on the inside, and letting fluid move, sort of like a torque converter. So fan clutch is just like a torque converter. This one should be fairly free spinning when cold, sort of like it's slipping. And then as it gets warmer and it opens the passages up, it locks up to like 80–90%, I think, of actual mechanical lockup. Sort of like a torque converter. Once it gets above a certain RPM, doesn't slip anymore. I think I got that right. I'm not that good on torque converters, but I think I got that one right. Anyways, so it's like a miniature torque converter for a cooling fan. And we got to replace it, but it's a pretty easy job. I'll show you. Here is our fan. You can see the fan clutch is right here attached to the fan. It's really hard to see actually because there's no room, but watch this. If I spin this, this engine is dead cold and it doesn't really free spin much at all. So that's definitely bad. There are 4 bolts that hold it on to the fan and 4 bolts on the water pump to hold the clutch onto the water pump. So 8 bolts. I believe I'm going to take the fan off first to be a little bit easier, and then we'll take the ones off the water pump. These are 10mm and they're kind of hard to get to. You don't have a lot of room. You've got to do a 1/4-inch shallow socket and a 1/4-inch ratchet. You're not going to get them with a wrench because they're recessed. There you go. As you can see, it is a 10mm recessed. Pretty long. I don't know why it needs to be that long, but it is. So 3 to go. You don't have to watch. I'll come back when I'm done. There we go. Bolts are out. And fan is off. Now, if I'd had a fan shroud, I would have had to take the shroud off first. Luckily, or unluckily, this shroud disintegrated years ago, so I can get the fan off and out of the way without having to take a shroud off. But if you've got a shroud, you're going to have to loosen that first to do probably anything else. Here's the next ones. 4 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. Look at that. A 10mm. Found one. It's not the best one. I mean, it's Blue Point, which is okay-ish, I guess. This pulley is probably going to have a tendency to turn, even though there's a belt on it right now. So what you can do is take a screwdriver, like this one, preferably flat blade, jam it between another nut and the neck of this fan clutch to hold it in place. And I recommend going around and loosening all of them first, and then take them off. That way, you don't have to struggle with the last one once you got 3 of them off, trying to get something loose. You're not going to damage any threads or anything like that. So, watch this. See, look. Whoop, jammed like that. Get the bottom one. And there you go. Now they're all loose. All right, that's the last of the nuts. This should just come right off. Wiggle, wiggle. There we go. All right. Oh, yeah, that is locked up pretty good. It should not be that tight. Not at all. Okay. Here's the old fan clutch. Here's the new one. Now, somewhat worryingly, this old one is a lot thicker, as you can see, than the new one. However, the bolt holes look to be about the same thickness, and they're the same spacing apart. And so are the mounting holes there. So, I guess we just get more space between the radiator and the fan, which without a shroud is actually terrible because the fan is going to be less effective than it was before. But seeing as how it didn't overheat and it was actually keeping the temperature almost all the way on cold with a broken fan clutch, this will probably be more like half-ish or better, just hopefully not near the H. Reverse order, putting it on. What I'm going to do though without a shroud is I think I'm going to actually put the fan on first so I can see things because that was kind of a pain. And then we'll put the clutch on. So you can do it both ways, and I guess, yeah, showing you both. There's fan clutch, there's fan, Ta-da, those holes line up. Awesome. And my bench is an absolute mess right now, but no time to clean. I've got a fan clutch to put together, so just shove that out of the way. It'll be fine. Yes, all right. You're gonna want to start these by hand, and then we'll end up finishing them probably with a little impact driver or a 3/8 ratchet or something to make it quicker. Time saver. Ooh, you could go just all the way around, but I'm going to go crisscross star pattern out of habit. And I want to. And it goes. When it goes, that's how you know it's torqued. That sound is the same as an ugga-dugga for a person, by the way. Listen. That's an ugga-dugga, mechanical, electrical. There we go. Let's back on. Should we clean this? Absolutely not. Back on the truck with you. Installation procedure, same as removal, but backwards. There we go. Woo! You can see the problem is that there's no room between here and here to get this started. So I've got to do each one of those just like that. But now that I've got it hanging on one, the others are going to be a little easier. So again, screwdriver, and then tighten. And with this one, I don't even have room to use the box end. I've got to use an open end. I do like this truck a lot. It seems to be a lot more durable than I thought it would be, and the more and more reading I do about it, apparently worldwide this is like the L200 platform, which would be like the truck version of what used to be a Pajero overseas, which would be like a two-door Montero that they made here very briefly, or two-door Dodge Raider. Same basic thing. These engines apparently are very good. This 2.6 has all forged internals, at least on the bottom end. We'll go around, double check all of them. Okay. Didn't sound like a school bus. Temperature should come up. That was the other thing I forgot to mention with a bad fan clutch. If you've got one that is locked up, your temperature is probably going to stay on or near cold all the time. It's sort of like if you don't have a thermostat in. There's no way to regulate it because it's just constantly doing the most it can to possibly cool. Well, that's going to do it for today. We got a new fan clutch put in. As you can see, it's a pretty easy job. Just takes 10mm socket, wrench, ratchet, combination of stuff and things. And as you can see, any idiot can do it. So that means you probably can too. Next up on this truck is probably going to be putting fog lights on it. I don't know if it's going to be the old ones back on in a new spot or new ones back on in a new spot because they couldn't be in an old spot because they're new. Yeah, okay. Till then, thanks for watching.